Friends, and welcome to my channel. Today I want to show you a vending machine created using Lego Mindstorm. I love using vending machines, and whenever I go to the airport or the mall, I love using them. So I thought of creating my own. Initially, I choose the item that I want. I have this DualShock controller. I will choose it. So as you can see, there are 6 boxes right here. I am going to choose the first one. It shows me that there are 10 credits left. So I will have this 5 credit one and I will put it in the machine. So it shows me that 5 credits are left. I will take another 5 one and put it. Whee! I have the yummy hot dog. Some secrets about this. In this, there is a color sensor. It detects the color of these blocks. I programmed it to hold some values. For example, I have programmed that if the color sensor detects the color as this color, which is green, then it will change the credits by -5. I use 3 motors which dispense the item. For example, if you want to select, we have selected the item 1. Then this motor will move like this, and we get the hot dog. Hello guys, and now let's see the coding of a vending machine. This is a huge chunk of code, so it looks like it's a lot and it's very difficult. But don't get worried, as when you understand logic, it's actually very easy. So first let's have a look at the when program starts on the event. So we're calling the function start. Here's the function start. We're writing 2 seconds. We are telling it to wait 2 seconds. This is actually not necessary, but it's good. Like just to show that after some time the vending machine is starting, then we're asking the player to select an item. So we're just telling him to choose an item. Now we're setting all the motor's speed to 25%. So when it drops the item, it does it very slow. So it can easily go down in our it can easily fall down. So, and we're setting all the position to the original position, which is 0. We're setting our credit value to 0, giving the return coin motor instruction, which is the F motor, to go to the shortest path, which is 338. So it will open, the coins will return, and then it will again go back after 1 second. We're setting our item to 0. Now we're calling the function selection. The function selection, we are saying repeat until it's cross pressed. This means that until we have pressed the X button right here, now the DualShock controller, it will continue doing it as we have not finally selected our item. This shows if item equals to 0, then we're going to turn on this. We're going to display absolutely nothing. In 1, we are going to highlight the first element, second the second element, and so on. So 0, I'll do nothing. 1, the first element, second, the second element, third, the third element, fourth, the fourth element, fifth, the fifth element, and sixth, the sixth element. How are we controlling these? How are we changing them? So here are some functions. When D-pad right button is pressed, that means we want to move 1 digit forward. It can scrolls here on the second block of the first row, then we want to the second row first block, right? So if item is less than 6, then change item by 1. For example, if we are on the final item, which is 6, we cannot move any further. The value is going to change the item value, then it will go to 7. We do not want that. So we are saying it is 6, then it will do nothing. It will just set the center button light to red, which means that it is wrong. Then we're going to wait 1 second and again do to white. Left, which is right here, going to decrease it by -1. So we are saying if item is greater than 1, for example, if item is 1 or we have item is 0, we cannot go to the left, right? If we go to the left, then go to -1 or 0. And there's nothing being highlighted and nothing being selected if we go there. So we are going to say if item is greater than 1, then only it is going to change item by 1, or else it is just going to show that you cannot move any more further. With up, we are going to increase them by 2, because if you want to change, go down, in this situation go up, we have to decrease our item by -2. For example, we are right here, so we'll just move 1 right here, then 1 right here, 2 right here, and go up. So basically we see the 6 boxes. So when we write here, we have to go up. So we're going to decrease it by when we decrease it by 1, -1, will come right here. Again by minus 1, it comes right here, which is exactly up. So we are actually moving forward using this formula. So this formula will work for anything. Even if we are anywhere on the first element, second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element, sixth element. Okay, I just made a mistake. Can you think what did I do? Yes. So the mistake I made is that on the first and second element, you cannot actually move forward upwards. Where will you go then? So yeah, if item is greater than 2, then we are changing the item by minus 2. Or else, if it's item 1 or 2, then it won't get any further. Down, the same thing, except we're just increasing the item by 2. And and cannot move anymore down if we are on the 5th or 6th element. So we're saying if item is less than 5, then only. Or else we're going to change the random bundle like to 0. Wait for a second, I think I made a mistake. This should come right here. Then we're going to how will it do left? I think we've discussed it. So now after this is be done, we again come to the start function. We're saying 1 cost 10. And means item 1 cost 10, item 2 cost this much, and blah blah blah. So you can change that to anything. Or I have used a block. The block I made a list. So I defined a block item cost price. So this first one is item, the other one is price. The certain price of an item in the list item cost. So insert price, which is for example 10, at item, which is 1 for the first case of item cost. So at the first element, the first item, we're going to put the price 10. So and afterwards in the last we're calling item select. So what we're doing in item select is that when the user has pressed the cross button, then we are saving the value so that it cannot be changed anymore. So we're going to say if item cost is 0, the person has not just selected anything and just pressed the cross button. We're going to say him to select an item, and we're again going back to the selection section list. Else, if he has selected an item then press the cross button, we're calling another function named as credit. Now in credit, what are we doing? We're basically saying that so let us see, set item to item. This is not really necessary, but just for precaution you can do it. Set credit to item or item cost. Now what is this? So what in this case, what are you doing? We are showing the item cost at first. Then what coin we put? For example, we put the 5 coins one. Is reducing the credit. So first the credit is the item 1. If we select 1, then item 1 of item cost, which is 10. So forever we are going to put a loop. If credit is equal to 0, press on hold until then item motor start. So when we are finally done, then we're going to call another loop. If item is less than 0, then we're going to set center button light to red. Wait 1 second, set center button light to white. So what are we doing in this case? Now we have added too much money. So it will show that this is wrong and it will give back our money. It will again call the function and will restart. Now how are we changing credits? We're using sensors. See, when color is green, credit change by minus 5. The actual light green, the real green is this. Like I told you before, we're using a color sensor. We're calling the function credit change minus 5. So credit change has been defined. Where's credit change? Yeah, credit change coin. If credit is greater than coin plus coin to 2. Now this looks like a very huge formula. Can you guess why it is? This is because here we putting the coin as minus 20. First we have to decrease it. So we cannot. We have to first check if we are putting too much money. If we are putting greater money, so credit is greater than coin plus coin to 2. So because we cannot check the negative with the positive, then of course always it will be true. So you have to check the positive of the coin. Now what will happen? For example, if you have minus 5 as coin, minus 10, minus 20, anything. So for example, if we know integers, minus 5, how do we get it to 5? We add the double of that number. Double of the number. So we add minus 5 plus, we add minus 5 plus 10 plus to 5. Credit is greater than coin plus coin to 2. So now there is a mistake. Can you guess why? Because minus 5 plus minus 5 to 2, that means minus 5 plus 10. minus 15. So that will be totally true every time. How will we do that? So one thing that this cannot be done. I mean, this can be done, but this is not efficient because this is always check after we have put in the coin. So we have to eventually give a coin back. Instead of this, we have done this. If it is less than 0, we added too much money, that will give it back. So this is better. We don't actually need this, right? So I'm gonna just put this and move this block. Okay? Yeah, we don't do this. And we made it very simple. Create change color by coin. Get it? And we calling the function. Change color by change minus 30, change minus 10. Yeah. Now we come back to credit. Now, if credit is equal to 0, then place some goal until done. When we finally put in the right amount, then we have done it. So it will give us round. It will call the function item motor, which is this. Now we have to move the motor. Dispense the item. If the item is 1, then we have to specify which motor we have to move and how. For example, here's the vending machine, right? You can see there's the vending machine. So now I have put this item put right here. Any is fine, but actually it will be difficult to put it here and move it with my hands. So I will move it right here. You can see. Ta-da! So we have to specify which motor and this item. Then now we have to restart it. This person wants to take another item. Okay, let's go to start. This program will be stopped with our hub and the computer coded. So, yep, that's the code. And for fun, I thought why are there so many buttons on the DualShock controller? There's so many buttons. And for fun, I added some more functions. The person, for example, made the wrong selection by mistake. Now he has to go to start, but he doesn't want to follow the whole process. So what will he do? Add it when L2 is pressed. Then it will again go to start and again restart the code. Which you can, L2 is not necessary, you can choose anything. Now I thought what happened, the person does not have enough money. For example, we have to have 10 rupees. Thought I will give 2 or 5 rupees. He put this one of it, and one more, and thought of putting one more of 5, but he didn't have it. What shall he do? He cannot put a 10 one. He doesn't have any spare change. If he puts a 10 one, then it will be automatically returned. He wants to get his money back. He wants to do faster than putting all the incorrect credits and come back. So when L2 is pressed, we are giving all the money back and then again calling the function credit. So the person can again restart. But he can, instead of putting 251, he can simply put 101. So yeah, that's the program. And I hope when you code it, your program works just fine at that mind there. And you happily can control and put almost any control using any controller that you have. For example, instead of using a DualShock controller, either you can use the hub. There are some buttons on the hub and use that, or there is also a remote control. As you can see,